Hello. Today I thought I'm going to talk about the way that we create our world through what is in our mind. It's easy to think that our world is created by other people and other events, but actually, mostly, what determines our states of mind is our habitual ways of thinking and perhaps our negative ways of thinking. So there's always choice in every, well, not just every day, but in every moment there is a choice. And the states of mind that we can experience are depicted in what's known as the Wheel of Life. You may be familiar with that image. And it has six pictures. Well, it has many more than that, but I'm only focusing on one of the rings within that circle of life. And that is the realm of, firstly, the gods, the god realm, the anti-god realm, or the warring Ajuras. Then there's the hungry ghost realm, the hell realm, the animal realm, and the human realm. So these six realms depict very different ways of experiencing ourselves. And for those of us that have an open mind to rebirth, Buddhism does say that we can literally be born experiencing those realms. Well, in the West, a belief in rebirth is not so prevalent, and so we can certainly think of these realms in terms of our different states of mind, perhaps at different stages of our life. But actually, even within the course of a day, we can experience a lot of these different realms. And that is because there is, you could say, a poison or a negative state of mind associated with each of them. And I think most of us are familiar with those states of mind. So it's good to get familiar with those. There's a Buddhist verse that says, looking at the same river, humans and fish see it differently. Well, that's a bit obvious, isn't it? We all see things differently. But actually, do we really know that we create our world, that actually you could say we've all got different coloured spectacles on, spectacles with different lenses, and that determines how we see the world. We all see it completely differently. So as humans, actually I'll give an example from each of the realms once I've spoken a bit about them. So the God realm, the emotion that it's attached to that's not particularly helpful is, or the defilement sometimes it's called, is attachment. So the gods have a very pleasant life, and you could say that it's the mental states of people that have an easy life, that are perhaps very wealthy, very famous perhaps, or that have just had maybe a very happy kind of life and are able to enjoy culture and the beautiful things in life without hardly trying. But actually, that God realm, well, every realm eventually runs out of its karmic energy, you could say. So it doesn't matter which realm we're in, it's never going to last, because we know that ultimately everything is impermanent, absolutely everything. So even in the God realm, there is this fear of loss. So there is an attachment to that God realm, which at the back of their minds, they know that actually it can't last. So if we take this world and this time, for example, however rich and famous you are, however much you're admired, however beautiful you are, whatever you are experiencing, it will not last. It cannot last. because everything is impermanent and subject to decay and ending, changing. So, yes, that attachment that is in the God realm leads to suffering. And that's the point, these things lead to suffering. So next we have the warring gods, or what are called the Asuras. And in the picture, there is the roots of a beautiful tree in the Asura realm. And the tree extends upward and goes into the God realm. And all the fruits of that tree, all the benefits, all the beauty is up in the heights, in other words, where the God realm are. So it won't be a surprise to you to know that these gods, these warring gods, are jealous. And jealousy and envy is their poison. So they're never going to be satisfied until they've won. And in a way, this is the realm of competition, of politics and big business, where, you know, there's always wanting to keep on top, always jealousy about who's ahead of them. And it's a very uncomfortable place to be, isn't it, jealousy? And of course we experience envy and jealousy when we are not satisfied, when we're not content with what we have got. And of course we're privy to what everybody else has got, you know, through the media. And it's a very dangerous thing because, you know, we see what others have and then we think that it's natural or normal to have those. And then our expectations rise up. And then, of course, we're going to be disappointed at some point. So that jealousy is quite a gripping, unpleasant experience. And next we have what are called the hungry ghosts. And in the picture, there's an image of these poor little beings with huge pot bellies and tiny little mouths the size of a pinprick. So however greedy they are, they can never be satisfied. And anything that they eat or drink turns to fire or excrement. So, and they've got these tiny little mouths, they can't really put much into their mouth either. So they are constantly in need, constantly wanting. And that's the mental state of grasping, of greed, where we're never satisfied. And we know that the Buddha said that craving is, you know, one of the most difficult things we deal with because there is no end to it. And we imagine that if we feed our craving, you know, if we have what we want, if we have what we would like, then we would be satisfied. But of course, it doesn't work that way. The more that we get, the more that we want. So there is no sense of satisfaction. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, some Buddhist traditions practice austerity or renunciation at least. And that's because the more that we simplify our lives, the more that we don't feed the greed, the less it will arise. But we'd have to try that to believe it, wouldn't we? Because mostly we're being tempted or goaded into wanting more and more. So yeah, that's the hungry ghost realm. And next is the hell realm. And this is the realm, you could say, of depression, of extreme mental suffering. And it's connected with aversion and anger. And, you know, why wouldn't we have aversion when we're experiencing so much suffering? And particularly in these times where we're still in lockdown from the COVID pandemic, I think there are a lot of people suffering this way. Hopefully it will be able to be eased once we're allowed more freedom. But I know that a lot of people are experiencing very directly these hell realms and are probably feeling quite desperate within that. So Yes, it's an aversion to life, an aversion to experiencing what we're having to experience. So next is the animal realm, and the animal realm is connected with the defilement of ignorance. So, well, as we know, animals have very particular qualities, and actually, they have qualities that we haven't got. You know, for example, they can hear things that are way beyond what we can hear. They have different sorts of intelligence, but they do also suffer from ignorance in that they can be abused by the human realm and frequently are. So there are a lot of animals that are slaughtered for people to eat. There are beasts of burden that are kept, you know, for moving heavy loads. Animals can basically be abused in all sorts of ways, and you know, if they're beautiful, they're probably shot for their skins. So they lead a pretty difficult life because they haven't got the kind of intelligence that we have got to dominate, to subjugate. So yeah, that I use the word ignorant in a particular way because certainly animals are pretty fantastic in many ways, and in lots of ways they're highly intelligent. But because of the nature of their birth, they are also subject to an ignorance which leads to their suffering. And then in the human realm, the defilement is pride. So, yeah, I think pride causes us a lot of unpleasantness and pain, because that is the reason that we compare ourselves to others. That is the reason that we never feel good enough. That is the reason that we feel driven to prove ourselves, to work very hard. It's why we get caught up in believing what we're told by society rather than being able to stand our ground in our own confidence. So anyway, that's a brief run through those realms with their defilements, and I'll probably have more to say about them tomorrow. But for now, goodbye.